Hello, athletes. Welcome and thank you for tuning into the Coach Katie Danger podcast, recorded live from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm your host, Coach Katie Danger, U.S. Army veteran, fitness coach, and founder of Red H Nutrition. Here's a fact for you. 99% of us are not elite athletes. We're individuals from all backgrounds, juggling life's priorities, including jobs, our families, their needs, and trying to find time to take care of ourselves. Every single week when you tune in, I'll be discussing clear, concise, and actionable strategies you can use to get the most from your fitness, nutrition, and mindset so you can optimize your life without compromising your time. So athletes, settle in and get comfortable. I'm here to educate, inspire, empower, and entertain you to help you enjoy the unique fitness journey that you are on. Hey athletes, what is up? It is Coach Katie Danger, and I'm coming live for episode number 78 of the Coach Katie Danger podcast. And I've got some really cool information for you today. So maybe you were intrigued by the title of this episode. It is called The Miracle Treatment for Ruined Joints, ? And I will get into what led me to prolozone therapy, because that is what this miracle cure. And I'm putting miracle in quotes because I got to get your attention. I got to get you keyed up and tuned in if you want to get this information. And I really believe that this information is very valuable. It has already been incredibly beneficial to me, even a few hours post-treatment. And if you're interested, I want you to listen, because this could be a way that you regenerate your joints, repair and rebuild cartilage. Yes, it is possible. It is possible. Decrease inflammation. If you've had chronic injuries, back pain, neck pain, knee pain, joint and ligament pain in the wrist, you've got arthritis, like pretty much anything, prolozone therapy could be an alternative solution for you. It is natural. It is holistic. It does not require surgery. You do not have to get a doctor's note or a referral to get it done. It's available and it's out there, and I tried it and I loved it. But before I get into the awesome stuff, I always want to make sure that I preface you with what's going on here at Red H Nutrition, and then of course with Coach Katie Danger myself and what I'm doing. I was able to bring on a few more clients for the metabolic amplification formula. And with that, I have a new problem. I'm going to be bringing on 2 new assistant coaches, and they already know who they are. And if you're listening, I'm really looking forward to starting to work with you. So as the coaching business has grown, as I've been able to show people that, hey, I can help you get from point A to point B, it's just growing. Referrals are coming in. People are letting their friends know, their family members know, and they're realizing that life and your diet don't have to be 2 separate things, right? You don't have to live in this box of the food you eat and then try to fit it into your lifestyle. They're the same thing, and they should work together. And any coach worth their salt should be able to come up with a workout and nutrition plan that makes sense for your life. So you don't have to shove a square into a circle, because we all know that if the piece doesn't fit, the piece doesn't fit. And trying to shove things into a place that doesn't fit, it only gets more frustrating and it just doesn't work. So if you're interested in joining the metabolic amplification formula, I highly encourage you to go to CoachKatieDanger.com, click on the schedule your free health and fitness assessment, and we'll chat. I want to find out more about you. I got to know about you. We are not all going to be a good fit for each other, but this is the place we start. And if for some reason we aren't a good fit, I will make sure that I refer you to somebody who can help you, depending on what's going on in your life and where you want to go with your goals. But if you've got goals that have to do with accountability, building muscle, burning fat, and finally getting quick but sustainable results, metabolicamplificationformula.com. Go there, schedule your free health and fitness assessment. You can also do it at my website, CoachKatieDanger.com. Okay, so that's the coaching. Now let's talk about the next 30-day challenge. So in addition to the one-on-one coaching, if one-on-one coaching isn't something that you are ready investment-wise or time-wise to do, I have a full Send 30 challenge, and this is a 30-day challenge. This month for August, we focused on low-level heart rate training that specifically is designed to help burn fat. So the fat molecule has to be oxidized. And one thing that we don't do enough of is low-level heart rate training, cardiovascular training. It doesn't have to be like CrossFit. It doesn't have to be high-intensity interval training. It's going to be great for fat loss. It's really good for longevity of your cardiovascular system. And the body was meant to move. So that is what the first challenge was all about. We also focused on a high protein diet. So wherever you're at, whatever you like to eat, none of that had to be modified or restricted. All we did is we balanced macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbs, and increased our protein intake so we could improve our musculature and really make sure that we are getting the protein we need to repair and rebuild our muscles. Protein is a nutrient that I think that people don't get enough of because there's just fat and there's carbs and everything, even healthy stuff, right? But our world is a processed fast food world. And generally we're going to be talking about fats and carbohydrates and not the good kind. So the full Send 30 challenge, August challenges is finishing up. I had great reviews. We're only taking 15 people. So if you want in on September's challenge, here's what it's about. We are going to be doing, I wouldn't say it's a whole 180, but it's close, maybe 90-degree turn. We're going to be focusing on high intensity interval training. And with that, we're going to be focusing on a diet that is programmed for high quality fats and proteins. So it's going to be about 45% fat, 30% protein, and maybe 15 to 20% carbs. Your carbs are going to come from whole food sources, as little processed sugar and grains as possible. So vegetables, fruits, high quality sources like that for your carbs. And then for the fats and proteins, this is where we are using an energy system for high intensity interval training and then fueling that energy system. So fat is going to be our fuel. And I really want you on board for September's challenge. I got 12 out of 15 left. I've got 3 signups in the past day. So if you want one of those slots, fullsend30challenge.com, fullsend30challenge.com. Get yourself signed up. I'd love to see you. And this is something that we'll do, for the rest of eternity, as long as we have good results and continue to be able to put plans together that make sense for what people want. And maybe this challenge isn't for you. Maybe you're not that interested in high intensity interval training, or maybe not that interested in altering your food intake to be higher quality fats and proteins. And that's okay. Check back again next month, because this is like giving people new tools in their toolbox, providing them new information, new weapons in order to overcome obstacles. And then if you want to stick around, I've got a lot of people that are going to continue on from August challenge, because now they want to see, okay, I've done low level heart rate training. Now what can I do if I start adding HIIT training back in and use my fat for fuel sources? Because with high intensity interval training, we've got a different energy system that's being used by the body. It's not an aerobic engine necessarily. It's a creatine and phosphocreatine and then the glycolytic energy systems. So that's the general idea of September's challenge. And I want you in there. So get in there now if you're not in. Okay, so here's what I did today. Here's what I've been dealing with. This will kind of give you a little abstract narrative to the reason why I did prolozone therapy. I've been really struggling with joint pain, and I'm 36. I eat well, I move, I exercise, and I don't have any catastrophic injuries. I have never been in a major car accident before. I would say the worst thing that's ever happened to my body was probably airborne school, when I jumped out of airplanes for fun. Who does that? It's not so much the jumping out of airplanes, it's the landing part that hurts the most. So we saw, oh my God, in airborne school, I'm so grateful that I didn't break anything, because left and right, falling out of airplanes, people are breaking their knees, their backs, their hips. Ugh, it's terrible. So, from being in the military, from being a CrossFit athlete for so long, I have dealt with chronic injuries, and I've done the best I can. I do mobility all the time. It just seems like every day it's more and more time I'm spending trying to do mobility and move my joints and tissues. So I'm moving through space, and I wake up in the morning and I still don't feel very good. And I do not like to take ibuprofen, but I did a triathlon over the weekend. So I got back into triathlons. It's my first love. It's my first sport. I found triathlons before I ever found CrossFit. So it was my first competitive experience. So it means a little something to me. Putting my hand over my heart here. It does. It has a special place in my heart. But man, it wrecked me. I went to the run. So it was a 750 meter swim, a 13-mile bike ride. It was 2 laps around a lake, and then it ended with a 5K. And I did better than I expected to do, but I had such terrible neck tension during my run. I didn't stop, and I actually kept a better pace than I thought. So saying all these things, it's well, Katie, you did better than you thought you did. You didn't stop running. You kept a better pace. I finished 3rd in my age group, so 35 to 39-year-olds. So I was I'm happy with those results, but what I'm not happy with is the way my body felt. I'm so sick and tired of feeling like shit all the time. When I wake up, I have to test different pillows. My neck goes through these phases where it feels good, and then I'm putting laundry in the dryer and something slips out. My rib comes out or my neck gets tweaked, and it can just be a nightmare. So it always seems like I'm trying to manage my neck pain. And I talk about my neck more here, but I have lower back. Chronic stiffness and tension in my lower back. And then my knees, they're a little crunchy. They've got that crepitus. But like I said, I've never had any major injuries. Worst thing I've ever done is I got a concussion on one of my airborne jumps when I fell and I hit my head. I did have a helmet on though, but still, that whiplash and that, I saw stars. I've never seen stars like that before. So I know that there are some things that just are not healing, and it appears that they're only getting more aggravated. I'm not doing crazy workouts anymore. When I say crazy, it's like I'm not going to CrossFit. I'm not going 20 minutes balls to the wall, AMRAP as fast as I can. I do a lot of bodybuilding training. I do a lot of interval training at home on the treadmill. And then, of course, some cardiovascular steady state training for triathlons. But I don't know why my body has to feel like shit all the time. So I do what I can. If you guys listen to this podcast, I try lots of things. I'll try almost anything once. I really will. Supplements, therapies. The only thing I won't do is I won't get surgery. I'm like, what are they going to do surgery on for a stiff back? I don't have a slip disc. I've had x-rays before to, rule those things out. I did have an x-ray on my neck, and C5, C6, and C7, I've got some vertebral degeneration, but nothing that was like abnormal for somebody my age and somebody with my activity level. So it's like, okay, cool. I don't have anything. I mean, it's a relief to know that there's nothing that needs to be like surgically repaired, right? Like no bulging discs, no bone on bone action. But also it's still kind of frustrating. It's like, well, why do I feel like crap all the time? So I go to a chiropractor once a week, Dr. Leslie Martin here in Omaha. She is super awesome. If you guys go to a chiropractor, one of the last things you ever want to hear, and from a doctor too, is like, you need to stop what you're doing. Like, oh, you got pain, you need to stop what you're doing and rest. Well, if you've rested before, you know that as soon as you get back to what you're doing, some of that pain might come back. Whether it's acute or chronic, it comes back, and it's frustrating. But Leslie's great. Leslie's an athlete. She's a former high-level power lifter. She is an Ironman athlete. She has done Ironmans before. I trust her opinion. I love her guidance. And I know she's an athlete. So when we talk about things, I know that she gets it. And that's what I want from a provider. So she's been struggling with some knee pain of her own, like so bad that she couldn't even go down the stairs. She couldn't even take her dogs for a walk. It was just too debilitating. So she finally decided to pull the trigger on this prolozone therapy. And so she tells me about it. Because I go in there once a week and I'm like, Leslie, my neck hurts. Why? So she does her adjustments, but we're not getting any long-term relief because like inflammation is not getting taken care of. My bones and my joints are getting back in place, but my inflammation, I'm just unable to relieve this chronic inflammation for whatever reason. It just won't heal. And I had enough. So she tells me about prolozone and she got it done. And then I went in the following Monday and she's like, Katie, like it worked. Like my knees, I'm able to walk the dogs again. I mean, so she went from like a 9, like not even be able to walk down her steps, to a 2. So if we're talking a 1 to 10 scale of pain, of course, this is relative, right? Like pain is a subjective scale. But when somebody tells you that they couldn't even go down their steps, she had to crawl down her steps. And now she's at a 2 or a 3 level of pain. And she's just able to kind of go through her day without thinking about her pain. That's huge. And I'm like, you got to tell me more about this. I want to know. Because if I could stop thinking about my neck pain for even a second in time, it would be awesome. Like just a little bit of relief is all I'm asking for. So I scheduled my appointment. Supposed to have it last week. Unfortunately, the nurse practitioner was sick, so I had to reschedule it, but I got it done today. But before I tell you about my personal experience, I got a bunch of literature and I just wanted to talk about it. It's so relevant and fresh in my mind. I wanted to make sure that I shared it all with you so you get to feel the emotion behind it. You know how I feel, and then you know how I am now post-injection therapy. Okay, so here is prolozone therapy. I'm going to read some of this verbatim from the literature. So I do apologize if I sound a little, like a little medical or sterile in the way that I talk. But this is important. Okay? Because I will get to my personal experience. But here's the deal. So prolozone therapy, our ligaments and joints, they deteriorate with age, overuse. And then sometimes if we put on too much body fat, body weight, that can take a toll on our joints as well. So as ligaments age, they lose elasticity and they start to pull away from the lining of the bone. Now, this space is filled with new bone, and it can result in things like bone spurs and then general deterioration of the joints over time. Ligaments generally have a poor blood supply, which further deteriorates them with age. And then, then we continue to do the things we do, whether it's activity or there's new injuries that come to those currently injured sites. It's just bad combo, right? Like it's a 1-2 punch knockout, good luck healing, okay? So we're trying to heal. But we've already got degeneration going on. Unless you're a baby born today, you've got some degeneration in your joints. It is just a fact. It is a matter of fact. And I don't mean to alarm you because that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hurt like I did. But if you're listening, I suspect that there's some place on your body, maybe your neck, your back, your knees, your ankles, your wrists, your shoulder, something on you hurts and you wish you could make it stop hurting. You don't just want to like make it stop hurting because you can take pills for that. You can take pills to take some of the pain away. But at the end of the day, you're like, I'm just taking this pill. It's just a Band-Aid. It ain't going to actually fix it. I wanted something that fixed it. But I'm like, I'm not a good candidate for, knee replacement surgery. And I got no reason to have a neck fusion or a spinal fusion. So it's like, what do I do? Prolozone therapy, my friends. Okay, so Dr. Frank Schellenberger, he is the pioneer of prolozone therapy. And this is what he states. He says that many painful joints can be repaired, keyword repaired, using prolozone therapy. And the primary reason for pain in joints is damage to connective tissue within the joint. As we age, our repair processes slow. And when this wear and tear exceeds repair that we are able to do on our body, the joint's just going to be more susceptible to future injuries, and it's just not going to be able to heal. Like, it just gets stopped in its tracks. You can take all of the BCAAs you want, you can take all the anti-inflammatories you want, but at the end of the day, it's just not healing. You know, at one point you were here where you were good, and now you're here, and you might have been able to get just a little bit back to center, but you just can't get back to normal. You can't repair it. So prolozone is an injection technique. Yeah, that's a needle, and it's used to heal joints and ligaments. So here is what I experienced. So I go into the office, she asked me a few questions. She asked what I knew about prolozone. And I mean, if you Google it, like, I got this article. It's actually by Dr. Schellenberger himself. It's from May 2011 from the Journal of Prolotherapy. And how many pages is this article? It's like 10 pages long. So it gives a really detailed breakdown of what prolozone therapy is. But here's my experience in the office. So I go in there and she asks how many sites. Well, the first thing that I want to do is like, my neck pain sucks. I need this taken care of. I got so much inflammation there. I don't know what to do with it anymore. Massage doesn't work. Heat and ice doesn't work. Ibuprofen, like, kind of works a little bit. It lets me like sit at my desk without constantly moving my neck around. I'm just always so uncomfortable in my neck. But I said, in a perfect world, I would love to do my neck, my lower back, and my knees in that order in terms of like priority. So my specific provider, she will do up to 3 sites at one time. So it was good for me. The cost for the initial injection. So I got 1 in my neck, 1 in my lower back, and then 2 in the knees, right? So that was 4 total injections. The first injection was $185, and then the subsequent injections were $160. So when I left today, I also got a military discount. It was $645 for those 4 injections. Hey, I know, and you know, that I talk a lot about using supplements on your fitness journey and reaching your full potential. How I believe they're integral pieces of the puzzle to reaching your best self and best fitness results. But do you know how supplements fit into your plan? Do you know what to take for your goals and how much of a supplement you should take? If you've ever had any of those questions and you want to know how supplements can work for you and your goals, go to yourfitnesssupplements.com and take the free 3-point personalized supplement assessment. And with just a few questions, you'll have a complete personalized supplement recommendation in less than 60 seconds. You'll know more about how supplements fit into your fitness goals, what's safe, and what's effective and perfect for you. So type in yourfitnesssupplements.com in your internet browser, take the free assessment, and get on the fast track to your best fitness results. Full disclosure, I am an uninsured American. I do not get insurance, and that is by choice. I believe that my care of my own body, the exercise that I do, and the food that I feed myself, the sleep, and all the other components of wellness, that's my insurance to myself. Now, I'm not saying that won't change someday. I just did get a text, ironically, that today there's open enrollment in my state, but that's a personal choice right now. So the thing is, though, even if you do have insurance, at least according to my provider, insurance does not cover prolozone, so it will be an out-of-pocket expense. But if you do have an HSA, they do take HSA, so that could still be a tax-deductible expense on your part. So good news for you, put that in the back of your mind if you're thinking about it. So I didn't watch the needle go in. I kind of wanted to, but at the same time, I didn't want to. And then I was face down for my neck and face down for my back. And then I got on my back and propped my knees up for my knee injections. And the neck didn't hurt at all. Like, she put a numbing agent on my neck. And I would say that was the most uncomfortable part, was it kind of felt a little burny with the numbing agent. I didn't feel the needle go. I felt a pinch. But she said that in all injection sites, depending on the area and depending on the person, and then depending on the severity of inflammation and severity of the degeneration, you can experience increased pain and pressure. Okay, so in my neck, I didn't experience any increased pain or pressure. In my lower back, I barely felt anything, which she said is good. She's like, if you don't feel anything when the ozone therapy goes in, that generally means there's not as much inflammation. And then in my knees, so my right knee is my better knee of the two. It's like my good knee, even though it kind of sucks. So my right knee actually had the most pressure and pain. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think at most it was an 8. I mean, and it lasted like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I don't want to overestimate it. You're usually like, oh, it lasted for like a minute. No, it lasted like 10 seconds and then just went away. And then she did the other knee. the left knee, and it definitely wasn't his pressure. But she was going to do 15 grams up to 20. And she does that variation because at 15, sometimes people can feel too much pressure in their joints and they're like, hey, I'm tapping out. I got to stop. She got right to the end of the syringe and I was like, hey, pressure. Because she said, tell me when you start to feel pressure. And as soon as I was like, hey, Sarah, I'm feeling pressure now. She's like, okay, it's done. So she was able to get all of the injection fluid into my joints everywhere. So it's like, cool. You pay for 20 grams, you want 20 grams, right? Then here was the fun part. You're supposed to move around. Like I asked her, should I go to the chiropractor for this? Because I had a chiropractic appointment. I also wanted to talk to Dr. Leslie about my experience because she had it done. So, we have that rapport now. We want to talk about our injections. So that was good. She's like, yes, go. And then Leslie always does some ART and massage on my neck. So you want to move around. You want to move the body. Like the body was meant to move. And she says to get the ozone moving around in your body, get the actual nutrients and things in your body, you want to move around. So with the knees, it's into the capsule. We know the knee is like a capsule, right? And there's a synovial fluid, or supposed to be. I mean, generally there's some joint space in there from cartilage. Like if you have a healthy knee joint, right? There's no bone on bone. So she puts it into the joint. Now with my neck, she put it into kind of my trap area. Because ozone can spread throughout the body, with that, you don't put it directly in the neck or the cervical spine itself. With my lumbar, it was the same thing. So it was around the lumbar spine. It wasn't in the spine. Same with the knee. Like she put it in the joint capsule, not like in the patella, right? Or in the bone somewhere. It was in the capsule. So that's what you want to do. And you do want to move around. So today, Sammy and I are going to go for a bike ride, see how my knees feel. But here was the wild part. Okay, I know by the time you guys listen to this, I won't be up on my Instagram page, but I took some video. And okay, Leslie had told me, my chiropractor told me, she's like, it's going to feel like there's like water and slushy stuff like sloshing around in your knee when you squat. So I get off the table and Sarah was like, okay, do a squat, move around a little bit. And I squatted. And you guys, it sounded like water was gushing in around my knee. It was the most wild sound in the whole world. And it didn't so much feel weird, but because of the sound, you're like, whoa, what was that? It was like a slushy in my knee. It was crunchy and slushy. It didn't hurt though. And here's the most amazing part about all of this. This is the amazing part. It is 2:10 p.m. in the afternoon here in Omaha. I had my appointments at 9, and it was about 9:30 is when my therapy actually started. From start to finish, it was like 10 minutes. Once she had the syringes filled with what was needed to be filled, I was in and out. But I don't have any pain right now. I've got some stiffness in my neck, which I'm like, what's new? But my lower back, like, it doesn't hurt. It's incredible. It doesn't hurt at all. And according to this, you can see results really quickly. And that's because prolozone has an anti-inflammatory effect. So it's especially true for back pain. You can see results in less than 24 hours, like actual regenerative results. It does mention here that in major joints like the knee, it can take time for new connective tissue to grow. Generally, new connective tissue and cartilage is seen at around 6 weeks. So that's like the full effect of prolozone therapy is about 6 weeks if you've got extensive cartilage damage. I don't suspect I've got extensive cartilage damage. I mean, I know that as an athlete, I've got cartilage damage, but I don't have any bone on bone. There's no restrictive pain. Like I can still do everything I want. Just sometimes I have to take ibuprofen or I have to really wrap my knees up. And whether this is realistic or not, I would love to get to a point where I have zero pain in my body. Where like if somebody said, how you feel today? I say, I got no pain. I got no pain anywhere. And I don't know if that's realistic. I want to believe that it is. But just being able to sit here and talk to you and not think about my neck pain. Now, I know I'm talking about it, so I'm thinking about it. But you know what I mean? Like it's not sitting on the back of my shoulder and going, hey, Katie, how's your neck feel? How's that vertebra? Don't you feel it back here stinging down your neck into your shoulder? I don't feel it. And it feels fantastic. And I'm so excited for the results. Now, here's how the follow-up goes. So prolozone therapy, as far as it's been studied, is extensively used on the knees. I would say most people have knee issues and pain of some sort. And a lot of people want to avoid knee replacements because we all know those don't last anyways, right? So once you get them replaced, like you got to get them done again someday. Depends on your age, depends on your activity level. I don't ever want to cut into my body. I don't ever want to replace an original part of my body. I am not a vehicle. I don't want to get a new engine. I don't want to get new parts. I just want to take care of the parts that I got, okay? And that's why I was so drawn to prolozone because it's not a steroid shot. It's not cortisone. It is a long-term, potentially permanent, regenerative, restorative, anti-inflammatory solution. And I am just so excited to see the results. I will be back again in 2 weeks and we will do an injection again in each of the sites in my neck and my lower back and my knees. Now, depending on the severity of it, and then of course, who you are as a human and your responsiveness to healing in general, you could need to make visits, every 2 weeks for a couple weeks. Or I could get my second injection and be like, you know what, I think I'm good for now. And then you just do like boosters every 6 months or so. It is definitely a treatment that you have to kind of play by ear and see how you feel once a few days and weeks have gone by after you've got your therapy. But the key here is that I need to move. I need to move my body. I need to get these nutrients moving throughout my joints and in my system to get the best effect. And I mean, I think we all kind of know that the more that we sit around and the more sedentary we are, the crappier our bodies feel and the more we tense up. So move. I'm going to get out and move today. But I did want to talk about prolozone and kind of like what's actually in it. It's about oxygen utilization. So as we get older, when we have oxygen is needed to make our energy. It goes into the mitochondria. It helps us make energy. Now, when we become compromised or injured or sick or just not feeling ourselves or tissue gets damaged, that oxygen molecule actually becomes a free radical. And a free radical continues to damage new DNA that is wanting to be replicated and, helps repair and restore joints. Whether that's anabolism and repairing our joints and our tissues, muscle protein, or that's just a free radical in our body, damaging another organ. We've all got free radicals in our body. And if we let those things accumulate, that's kind of where chronic illnesses and disease start to set in over the years. It's not really what happens in our 30s, 40s, and early 50s. It's what we do to our bodies in the 30s, 40s, and 50s that then affect us as we get older. And you all know what America and what the world is like nowadays. It is fast food culture. It is soda. It is sugar. It is processed foods. I mean, everywhere you go, there's a McDonald's on the corner, and it just sucks. And it irritates me. And that's why I say my insurance is my choices that I make. And I do the best I can. Obviously, there may be some things in life that I'm going to have to deal with in terms of illnesses. But right now, I'm doing a really good job of managing my life. So oxygen utilization, I don't want to get off on too big of a tangent here. Oxygen utilization, it's how efficiently a cell or cells are good at converting oxygen to energy. And as we get older, as we get in a deprived condition, oxygen is used less efficiently. So what we can't do is we're not converting this oxygen into energy well enough, and it sits in our body and it creates free radicals and it starts to damage us as we want to repair and rebuild tissues. So with prolozone, part of that word, prolozone, procaine and ozone, it's ozone. And what happens is it's 3 oxygen molecules and it's very unstable. But when it gets into our joints, because we have electrical stimulation in our bodies, right? We've got muscle contractions, we've got nerve signals going back and forth. This electrical signal will break apart the ozone molecule. So O3, right? We've got 3 oxygen molecules. And then when that happens, the oxygen is freely available in our bodies to be used as energy, as anti-inflammation. I mean, that's the layman's way of understanding this. It's ozone therapy. It's a detoxification. It's restorative and regenerative, and it helps get oxygen into our joints to decrease inflammation quickly and then put our body in a state where it can repair and rebuild the tissue and the cartilage and the ligaments. So we feel better. And it's not just another Band-Aid. It's not just an anti-inflammatory pill that you take. This is a long-term solution. And it's why I was so intrigued by it, and I just had to try it. And of course, I had to tell you guys about it. Now, the individual that does it, Sarah, she's a nurse practitioner. It is her own clinic. So she does a lot of other holistic services like IV therapy, chelation therapy, hyperbaric oxygen, ozone therapy, in which you sit in a chamber, which I've done ozone therapy in a chamber. I've done hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy. I've done IV therapy before. I've tried so many things. I hadn't tried prolozone, and I'm really, really happy with it so far. And I will go back in 2 weeks and I will get it done again. And then we'll see how long-term the results are for me. If I were you right now, knowing what I know, if I could force you to Google prolozone locally for you, I would say do it. If you've got any pain in your body, prolozone therapy can help you. It's really awesome. It's really awesome. And I know that it's only been just a few hours since I've had it done. I had it done 9:30 a.m. It's 2:18 right now, but it worked. It lived up to the hype that my chiropractor told me about. So check it out. Do a Google search, prolozone therapy near me or whatever, and find it. And just Google it too. Dr. Frank Schellenberger, he is the pioneer of it. He put all this together. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's going to help you repair, regenerate your joints and any other damaged tissues and alleviate pain. And isn't that what we all want to do? We all want to live our lives pain-free. Pain puts us in a place where we can't be creative, where it stifles us. It takes away a lot of our brain power. and it can keep us limited in mobility. And then kind of when you put all those things together, the limitations, the frustrations, and then like the legitimate physical pain, we can get stuck in a rut. It can lead to mental depression, anxiety, and that's not anything anybody should ever have to live with. Our bodies were meant to move. You are human and you deserve to be pain-free. And I really think that it's possible. I would highly suggest you go and you check out Prolozone Therapy as soon as you possibly can and try it for yourself. Try it for yourself. If you got an HSA card, that's even more awesome because it'll be tax deductible. But yeah, give it a shot. I'm super, super happy with it and looking forward to 2 weeks when I go again. But athletes, you know I'm always here to help you with anything that you're trying to do, whether it's alleviate pain, lose the belly fat, get strong, or just incorporate sustainable lifestyle habits and behaviors that can little by little, 1%, put you in an amazing position to be the best person you can ever possibly be. That's why I do everything that I do. That's why I go and get these silly injections. That's why I go to the chiropractor. That's why I eat well. That's why I talk to you. I want to be the best human being I possibly can. That means mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationship-wise, whatever dimension you can possibly think of in terms of wellness. That's who I want to be in my life. And I want to share all of the ways that I'm doing that for myself with you, because sharing is caring. Friends tell friends. So I'm telling you, in the meantime, if you want to learn more about my coaching programs, you want to work with me and my assistant coaches, I want you to go to metabolicamplificationformula.com or just go to coachkatiedanger.com. Schedule your free health and fitness assessment. It's 30 minutes. It's free. You will meet me or one of my assistant coaches, and we will learn more about you. We will find out what makes you tick. We will find out what your deep, desirable goals are and why they really matter, and then be able to craft a program for you that actually works. Not only quickly, but sustainably. And that is where you want to be, right? You want to be sustainable. No more yo-yo dieting. No more backtracking. You get the results you want and they stick once and for all. And if you're interested in a 30-day challenge, fullsend30challenge.com. I've still got spots left for September, so hopefully you listen to this in time. But otherwise, if you listen to this in advance, you listen to it months, years down the road, you can always go to fullsend30challenge.com and see what next month's challenge is, because we're always going to be changing the game just a little bit, because it's all about putting more tools in your toolbox so you have more information. Information is power, and the more you know, right? The better decisions you can make for yourself. So this is episode number 78, and I'm going to be signing off. But before I sign off, I want to leave you with a few things. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to trust the process. I want you to believe in the journey. And the last thing is don't ever, ever, ever quit. Don't ever quit on yourself. Whatever you want in this life, you can have it. You just have to be willing to stay the course. Believe in yourself. You guys, athletes, this is Coach Katie Danger signing off for episode number 78. And in the meantime, believe in yourself. I'm gonna say it again, believe in yourself. All right, guys, this is Coach Katie D. Over and out. We'll talk again next week.
This is the podcastfactory.com.